wise old man named Slim, who wore a paper rainbow bread cap, drank warm Jack's beer in infinite quantities, listened faithfully to the hapless Houston Astros on the radio, and washed dishes at our family's ranch, once told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "You're born alone and you die alone, so you might as well get used to it." It didn't mean much to me at the time, but over the years I've come to believe that old Slim might have been onto something. I live alone now in the lodge where my late parents once lived, and I'm getting used to it. Being a member of the orphan club's not so bad. Sooner or later, fate will plug us all up by our pretty necks. If you have a family of your own, maybe you won't feel it quite as much. Or maybe you will. I'm married to the wind, and my children are my animals and the books I've written. And I love them all. I don't play favorites. But I miss my mom and dad. In the past 50 years, thousands of kids have known Uncle Tom and Aunt Min. They bought our ranch outside Medina in 1952, named it Echo Hill, and made it a camp for boys and girls. Echo Hill will be open again this summer, and though the kids will ride horses, swim in the river, and explore the hills, they will not get to meet Uncle Tom and Aunt Min. My mother died in May 1985, just a few weeks before camp started. And my father died in August 2002, just a few weeks after camp was over. I can still see my mother sitting at her desk, going over her cluttered clipboard with all the camp rosters and menus. I can see her at the Navajo campfire, at the big hoedown, at the friendship circle under the stars. I can see my dad wearing a pith helmet, waving to the kids in the chartered buses. I can see him raising the flag in the morning, slicing the watermelon at picnic suppers, sitting in the lawn chair out in front of the lodge, talking patiently to a kid who's having problems with his bunkmates. To see him sitting quietly there, you'd think he was talking to one of his old friends. Many of those kids became just that. I don't know how many baby fawns ago it was, how many stray dogs and cats ago, or how many homesick kids ago. But 50 years is a long time in camp years. Yet time, as they say, is the money of love. And Tom and Min put a lot of all those things into Echo Hill. They gave most of their adult lives to children, daddy long legs, arrowheads, songs, and stars. They lived in a little green valley surrounded by gentle hills, where the sky was as blue as the river ran pure, the waterfalls sparkled clear in the summer sun, and the campfire embers never really seemed to die. I was just a kid, but looking back, that's the way I remember. What I remember most of all are the hummingbirds. It might have been 1953 when my mother hung out the first hummingbird feeder on the front porch of the lodge. The grown-up outside world liked Ike that year and loved Lucy. And Hank Williams died, as did Ethel and Julius Rosenberg. I believe now that I might have been vaguely aware of these events occurring even back then. But it was those tiny, wondrous rainbows of flying color that really caught my eye. And those first few brave hummingbirds had come thousands of miles, all the way from Central America and Mexico, just to be with us at Echo Hill. Each year, the hummers would make this long migration, arriving almost precisely on March 15th, the Ides of March. They would leave late in the summer, their departure usually depending upon how much fun they had at camp. In those first few years in the early 50s, the hummingbird population, as well as the number of campers, was fairly sparse. But as the green summers flashed by, more and more kids and hummingbirds came to Echo Hill. The hummingbirds always nested in the same juniper tree next to the lodge. Decades later, after my mother's death, the tree began to die as well. Yet, even when there were only a few green branches left, the hummingbirds continued to make that tree their summer home. Some of the staff thought the tree was an eyesore, and more than once offered to cut it down. But Tom wouldn't hear of it. I think he regarded the hummingbirds as little pieces of my mother's soul. My father and I more or less took over the Hummingbird Project together in 1985. As time went by, we grew into the role. It was amazing how creatures so tiny could have a profound influence on your peace of mind and the way you looked at the world. My father, of course, did many other things besides feeding the hummingbirds. I, unfortunately, did not. That was how I gradually became known as the Hummingbird Man of Echo Hill. Tom and I disagreed, sometimes almost violently, about the feeding methods for these fragile little creatures. He would measure exactly 4 scoops of sugar and 2 drops of red food coloring into the water for each feeder. I eyeballed the whole process, using much more sugar and blending many weird colors into the mix. Whatever our disagreements over methodology, the hummer population grew. This past summer, it registered more than 100 birds at happy hour. Tom confided to me that once, long ago, he had mixed in a little gin with the hummer's formula, and they seemed to have a particularly lively happy hour. Min was not happy about it, however, and firmly put a stop to this practice. Now, on bright, cold mornings, I stand in front of the old lodge, squinting into the brittle hill country sunlight, hoping, I suppose, for an impossible glimpse of a hummingbird, or of my mother, or my father. They've all migrated far away, and the conventional wisdom is that only the hummingbirds are ever coming back. Yet still I see my mother hanging that first feeder. The juniper tree blew down in a storm 2 winters ago, but the hummers have found other places to nest. One of them is in my heart. And I can still see my dad sitting under the dead juniper tree. Only the tree doesn't seem dead, neither does he. It takes a big man to sit there with a little hummingbird book, taking the time to talk to a group of small boys. He's telling them that there are more than 300 species of hummingbird. They are the smallest of all birds, he says, and also the fastest. They are also, he tells the kids, the only birds who can fly backwards. They'd like to try that themselves, they say. So would I.
Courtesy is owed, respect is earned, and love is given.
Find out what you like and let it kill you.
The bathroom mirror is the perfect place to one day see the gypsy in your soul.
Leap sideways before you let your karma run over your dog.
The important things in life are not things.
I've never really cared much about what people think, but I do care about what they dream.
If you look deeply enough inside of yourself, you'll soon discover you can see everybody else.
The only currency I value is the coin of the spirit.
Time is the money of love.
Money can buy you a fine dog, but only love can make him wag his tail.
The main health hazard in the world today is people don't love themselves.
May the best of the past be the worst of the future.
Becoming Kinky, the world according to Kinky Friedman.
There is a place where you can go, where Marilyn's still dancing with DiMaggio and Juliet with Romeo, and the name of the game is love. They put their hearts into a song, but hit parades and heroes, how they've come and gone. No one got home, but they got on, and the name of the game is love. There is a star high in the sky. There's a little piece of yesterday still in your eye to show the dreamers never die. For we live in a place called love. There is a place where you can go, where Marilyn's still dancing with DiMaggio and Juliet and Romeo, and the name of the place is love.
I'm a dreamer who never sleeps.
I'm a soldier that never kills.
I'm a drinker with a riding problem.
I'm a cowboy that only rides two-legged animals.
I'm a writer of fiction who tells the truth.
I'm the only free man on this train.
My name is Kinky Friedman.